Oh, hello you lot, how you all doing? I hope you're all alright. I'm having a look at my dehumidifier today. Yeah, so this is my little dehumidifier. I have this in the conservatory so I could dry the clothes in that in the winter. But a couple of years ago it stopped working. I had to look at it, then put it in the loft and forgot about it. But we need it to be working now, so I'm just having to play around with it. So far, I've taken the condensing unit off because normally, you know, you get a bit of a blockage in the bottom of here, and in there you get a little bit of a blockage, but it's completely free. There's nothing in there whatsoever. The only thing so far that I've noticed is there's a little bit of damage, which I didn't do, so I'm assuming that that was like that when it was put in. I definitely didn't do that, but I have noticed that around here there's a bit of a hole where it looks like it's been burned, to be honest with you. I don't think it has been burned. Well, it could have been. It does look burnt, but that will definitely hinder its you know, capacity to actually do its job properly, because with that hole in there, hopefully you can see that there's definitely a hole there with that, because what happens is when that is on here, like that goes on there, look, I've got to try and slide it on now. Well, anyway, as you can imagine, there's a hole there, right? The air comes through there, sucked in with a fan, alright, that goes on there, them two slot in there, and that slots on there nicely. So what's happening is the air's been drawn around here, and the condensation just settles in all these little fins, and then it dribbles down into these little holes. You can put a pipe on there if you want, but that looks all completely clear. It dribbles down into these holes and then goes into the little catch tank at the bottom, which is mounted on the bottom here, and it will just dribbles through into the little tank. But obviously if there's a hole in here, it's going to be blowing all the air all around inside the case, which looks like that's what's been happening. And I don't know whether it's failed or not. To be honest, I don't know, because the heater could have failed, because on the other side there's a heater over here. That's the heater, and obviously it heats. There's the fan motor which sucks in the air and also blows it out. You got a little motor there which moves that. I don't really know how you pronounce it. Decansant. Don't know how you pronounce it, but it's a decansant drum anyway, whatever the word is for it, because this is a disconsent. I really don't know how to pronounce that word. You lot are going to be laughing at me. You're going to be going, that ain't how you say it, but you know what I mean when I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say anyway. Yeah, so that's a little drum and it goes around, and the heater heats it up, and the little fan blows it round, and all kinds of things happen here. It looks like it needs a little bit of a clean, but I don't think it's too bad. I was wondering if the heater had failed, therefore it just wasn't condensing any condensation, any water, and then because it wasn't the trouble with it was it stopped collecting water. The fan works, it blows air, but I noticed that the air wasn't ever getting hot, because usually the air would get hot when the heater's on, and then the heat would go off when it gets to certain whatever it happens. Then it starts blowing out cold air, and then it would get to a certain humidity or a certain temperature, whatever the criteria is, and then it would blow out hot air again out the top. And that's how it works, you know, by that way. And it stopped getting hot and it stopped collecting water, so I thought, the heater must have failed. But now, after looking to see if there was any blockages, before I go ahead and order a new heater, because I've got no way of testing it, and I'll probably take it off and see if it gets hot or whatever, but I'll just get a new one. But I was expecting to see a blockage or something, but the only damage I've found is that, and that hole. But that hole will definitely 100% be hindering its performance, so I'm going to need to get a new condenser unit. Well, at least that's what I call it. I think this is called a condenser unit, but that's what I call it, because this is where all the air and water condenses, and then it just dribbles down through these holes into the tank. So yeah, but that hole won't be doing it any favours, that's for sure. Anyway, that's what today's antics have been up to. I'm just going to go a little bit further, see if I can find any more blockages. Then I'll have to go on the internet go over to EcoAir, have a look on EcoAir's website and see if I can get myself a new condenser unit to put in it. Pretty much need this dehumidifier really. What do you lot do to dry your clothes in the winter? I mean, obviously in the summer it's alright, you put them out on the clothesline and they dry, but in the winter we've always had a bit of trouble drying clothes. You know, we put them on the radiators and things, but then they dry, but obviously only when the heating's on, and in our house we don't have the heating on at all really. Comes on for about an hour in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning for about an hour just to take the chill out of the air, and then it don't come on again for the rest of the day ever, only at 4 o'clock in the morning for about an hour. So it's not really efficient trying to dry clothes on a radiator. So then, you know, we started putting them in the conservatory and that. Started putting we got one of those, like a wardrobe they are, with a heater in the bottom, and you put the clothes in there and it circulates hot air through the bottom and out the top and dries the clothes. Well, that's alright, works well, does dry the clothes, but then obviously that makes condensation like crazy. The whole conservatory, or if you put them indoors, everything just gets full of condensation, everything gets wet, as you would expect. So that's no good. So then for a few years, about 4 or 5 years, we've just bought some of these dehumidifiers, and we just use these to dry clothes. When we want to dry the clothes, we turn the dehumidifier on. About an hour, 2 hours later, clothes are dry and there's no condensation. But the trouble is, they don't last long. This one that I've got here was the first one we bought. Lasted, well, 1 winter. It lasted a few months, and then it stopped. Well, actually, you know what? It was alright when I put it away, but then when I got it out again, I realised it wasn't working. Well, I realised it wasn't working, that's why I thought it had a blockage. Anyway, so we bought another one, and we put one in the bedroom and that, and then we bought another one to replace this one. But then that one broke. That one lasted 1 winter, and now that one's broken as well. So after I've taken this one apart, I'm going to have to go and take the other one apart, but that's a different brand, a different make. But it'd probably be the same sort of internals, it's the same sort of dehumidifier. But yeah, man, it's just trying to find ways of drying clothes in the winter is difficult, you know. Some people just use a tumble dryer, don't they, and put them in a tumble dryer. But I don't like tumble drying t-shirts, and you can't tumble dry jeans because they shrink. You know, even if a t-shirt says you can tumble dry it on a low heat or whatever, they still shrink. So I don't tumble dry anything. I just tumble dry towels and things. But yeah. So what do you lot do to dry clothes in the winter? Let me know, because I'm just curious. I just like to be nosy. That's all. Well, just having a look on the EcoAir website, trying to find a contact for them. And they're only open Monday to Friday, so that ain't no good, because today is Saturday. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that is the problem. So I'm going to try and find. I've had a look on the internet. I've phoned up the local. There's like a few local places to me what sell washing machines and tumble dryers and bits and bobs like that, but none of them sell dehumidifiers and can get any parts for them. On the EcoAir website, there is no parts. There's no option to buy any parts, so I'm gonna have to phone them up and try and speak to them. eBay, no parts on eBay. I typed in everything, the model number, the lot, can't find any parts. So I know a few other different websites that I could be going to. We all know websites, don't we? We all know different. If you do know any places that you know 100% sell the parts for these EcoAir dehumidifiers, do put it in the comments and let me know. Because although this video is going to go up on probably Wednesday or something like that, I probably might still not have the part, and it's still handy to know different places. So if you can help me out, put it in the comments. But if not, I know some other websites where I used to get parts for vacuum cleaners and other bits and bobs like that when I was doing all them kind of repairs. So I've just never had to get one of them things for this one before. I've got a condenser unit. What was the other one? There's another brand. It starts with a D. I can't think what it is. But that was easy. I just went on their website and got the bit that I wanted. But this one can't. You know, I'm going to give it a clean up. And now I know what I've got to get. It's a shame that it's yellowed so much, isn't it? It's because where it sits in the conservatory, you know, the sun just yellows it so much. Those marks on it's just dirt where it's been sat out in the garage for a little bit. I got it out of the loft and I put it in the garage. So I kept meaning to get around to looking at it, but it's yellowed well loads. It's a shame. I hate it when plastic. It looks so tatty, doesn't it, when it yellows? Look, all that's all yellowed. That's what it used to be like on the top there. That's why I don't like having white plastic in conservatories and that, because it just ruins it. And also it makes it go brittle. I had to take this little switch off the top and this knob in order to get it apart. And all that dust is from the garage. And I was afraid it felt like it was just going to snap, because the sunlight just makes plastic go brittle. It's weird, man. Proper strange. So yeah, I'm pretty confident that the heater is alright. I do know that in the earlier models of this, I don't know how you tell if this is an early model or a later model. I don't really know, to tell you the truth. I think I've got a newer version of it. But I know that originally, when they first started making these ones, the heaters were prone to burning out, and then they fixed that issue for the other ones. I think this is one that was revised, but I'm pretty confident the heater is going to be alright, because looking at that hole, you know, that's going to hinder it massively, because all the air is going to be coming out the hole. It's not going to be able to settle in here. It's just going to ruin this. It's going to ruin the way that it works. So yeah, that's my problem, I reckon. There's no blockages in here. I've looked all around. That's all fine. I mean, normally you get big blockages stuck in these holes blocking it, but I reckon we'll be fine. I must admit, you lot, the only thing that is I'm not worrying about this too much, by the way. I'm just saying, like, the other thing that could be a concern, but I don't think that it would be at the moment, is that obviously I can go through and do some testing, but I just wonder, is because if the air's been, because that'd be that way, the air would be going in this side and it would be blowing out here, all around here. I just wonder if any water has got in any of the circuitry. I don't think it would have done, because everything seems to work all right, so I will be alright. I'm just going to get the compressed air and blow it out and get rid of all the dust. Again, normally what I do is I take it apart, clean this once a year, well, once every season, and I say season because I only use it in the winter. At the end of the winter, I normally take the lid off and blow out this drum and get rid of all the dust throughout the drum, so it's ready for next winter, ready for when I get it out again and start using it again. So, but I don't normally take the back off and get to this lot, I just normally take the front off. But yeah, man, we'll be all good. There's me antenna and stuff ready to rock and roll. There's me coax, look, all ready for when the time comes to go and do some DXing, I suppose. Oh, by the way, if any of you lot are interested, I'm doing videos on radios, CB radios, right? I've done one this morning on this T800, because a lot of people have been asking me questions about radios. You know, can you use this? Can you do that? What can you do with this one? Can you put it in the car? You know, what voltage does it run on? Can you run amplifiers with them? And, you know, questions that a lot of you lot may be, you know the answers to, but people who are starting off in radio, they don't know, do they? You know, then they're just starting to learn things, and they ask questions. So I've decided to do a little series on radios. A lot of people are asking for more CB videos, and although I've come away from CB because I just haven't got the time to be doing too much of it, I've decided to do some more videos on them for you lot. So I've done one this morning. I think you've probably already seen that one by now. That was the T800 one. That would have already probably been live by the time you see this video. The next one, if you haven't already seen it, is the T3000. I'll do one on this one as well, but it's mainly Thunderpole videos, because people are asking about Thunderpole radios. They want Thunderpole. So there we go. They do a T600 now that I want to try and get my hands on, and also a 2000 I want to try and get my hands on. So then I've got the whole family of Thunderpole CB radios, and then that way I can give you honest and in-depth opinions on the radios, and just to give you the truth about what I think about them. Somebody gave me that battery the other day. He was down the road and he come up to me and he said, I've got this battery, do you want it? I was like, well, is it any good? He said, I don't know. Apparently it's been in the bottom of his garden for years. You can tell it's got covered in mud, look. So I've measured it. It's got 8 volts in it. 8. It should be about 12.5. But I don't know if it'll come back around. We'll give it a go and see what happens, but it might be too far gone. But you can always try and revive them. Sometimes you can peel up this bit here and you can see if there's any water in them or not. We'll have a look. But anyway, I'm off to go and do some dehumidifier parts hunting. So I'll catch you on the next one, you lot. Pleasure just being of your acquaintance today. Hope you're having a lovely weekend. Tomorrow's Sunday. Have a lovely Sunday roast. Enjoy yourselves and just love life. Alright, because that is the way to go. See you later, you lot.